Well, so the last example from Module 4 is a solution for the quadratic equation formula. So this really is just pure math. There's no decisions here, although you could, in fact, put a decision in here. The big reason is, if you remember, right, a quadratic formula is something of the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And if you remember, there is a generic solution for that. Minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, the square root of that, divided by 2a. So that works, and that's what I've done here. You can see here's the plus, here's the minus. There's one caveat, though, to this, trying to use this Excel to solve a quadratic equation. So right, there's a square root of b squared minus 4ac. Well, in math, right, you can take the square root of -1. You get an imaginary number, an I or a J, depending upon which textbook you're referring to. Excel can't do imaginary numbers. It doesn't recognize imaginary numbers. So when you use this equation to solve for the roots for the quadratic equation, you must make sure that you don't get a negative answer, right? B squared minus 4ac has to be positive. If it's negative, when you take the square root of it, you will get an error. So you could have, in fact, done a test, which I haven't done here, right? I've just done it, and you'll find if you vary these answers, you can get an error associated with that. So I don't know, I think if we make this a +5 instead of a -5, no, that works. Let's see. I guess I should have tried it before I... Alright, so let's make C bigger. How about we make C bigger? No? Alright, you got me. There we go. So if you make C bigger than A or B, you'll get errors associated with it. So, actually, I think if it's a positive number, I think it's even a positive. No, it has to be bigger then. So, there you go. So you could solve for that by putting in a test and then not allowing the equation to happen. To make that, instead of coming up with an error, an Excel error here, what you could do is you could say imaginary numbers not valid with this method, or some kind of error. But there you go. So that is how you can solve the quadratic equation with Excel.